What's up with the Chicago Bulls? Now you gotta let the people know what's going on, because I believe they lost like 3 straight, and it's been a real roller coaster for the Chicago Bulls this season. What's going on?
I don't know. I really don't know, because you look on Bulls Twitter,
Yep.
and people are thinking the sky's falling. You have people thinking the Bulls are going to be tanking or want the Bulls to tank. You have another that says tanking is just not even worth it because they don't have a lot of draft picks and they have to be top 4 in next year's draft to get their pick, or else it goes with Magic. So there's a lot of issues that the Bulls have right now. They don't have a lot of future draft picks. They're stuck with a big contract with Zach LaVine.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to do with DeMar, and they don't know what to do with Vucevic. So there is a lot of issues in Bulls land. Colby White's hasn't really improved that much. He's kind of what the Bulls fans have expected for the last year or so. He's been good. I mean, like, he's a scorer. The guy can score, but can he do it consistently? And that's really the only thing he can do. Io's kind of faltered a little bit. It's just, there's not a lot right going on in Chicago right now, and there's really not an easy way for them to get out of it. They backed themselves into a corner with no picks, bad contracts, and old guys who, you know, who wants DeMar DeRozan right now for a really good price that's worth it to the Bulls? Who wants Vucevic at a good price that's worth it to the Bulls? So maybe they'll find a team that's willing to take him, and they'll have a good offer, but the Bulls are not in a good position to negotiate. That's the other thing. They're just not in a good position either way. So there is a lot of issues with this team. They are not going to compete for a playoff spot, let alone maybe compete for a play-in spot.
Y'all hear it?
That's the world's saddest violin.
That's my best impression of a violin. But Ben, I gotta at least.
They're just bad.
I gotta brighten it up a little bit. Like, in fairness to them, they desperately need Lonzo back. Like, desperately need him, because they can't guard anyone on the perimeter right now. The Chicago Bulls. Any given night, you never know what you'll get out of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan.
Right.
Now, you know. But it's really more so.
Yeah, Zach's hasn't been as good either.
It's been more so a consistent thing with Zach LaVine as opposed to DeRozan. Now, I got to come to the defense of DeMar DeRozan, because I feel like for the most part this season, he's done his due diligence in terms of production-wise, you know what I'm saying, making sure he's held himself accountable. Now, I think the other guys, for the most part, like you mentioned, Vucevic. Now, a lot of Chicago Bulls fans, they kind of be ragging. I don't really like how y'all be kind of ragging on Vucevic, and I don't really think he deserved, that much criticism. Yeah,
he's
because it's like he's gonna. What tier of big men are we putting him in order for the criticism to like really be necessary?
Sure.
So like, if he's a tier 3 center or a big man, however you want to describe it, then okay, I don't think the criticism should be warranted if he's a tier 3 guy. But if you believe that Vucevic is a tier 2 or can be a possible tier 1, then I can understand where the criticism can come from. Because it's like, okay, the 17 and like 8 or 9 in a league where it ain't really too many good bigs, like he's probably in that category. Vucevic with like JV, Jonas Valanciunas, DeAndre Ayton, who we'll probably talk about later, Yusuf Nurkic, those kind of centers where he's not necessarily super, but he's not Isaiah Stewart. Like, that's below the tier, right? That's like tier 4 in terms of like bigs in the league. Mitchell Robinson, like, he's better than those guys, but is he better than a Jokic, or is he up there with a Jokic or an Embiid? Or no, I don't. But I think that's okay, right, though.
No, I think you're 100% right on that. Maybe the expectations for him are a little too high. And I think the problem is people expect him to be a better 3-point shooter than he sometimes is.
Okay, that's fair.
He's shooting 34% from 3, looks like, but there are games, he's had a 1 for 7 game.
That's
bad.
He had
0 for 4 games. So
that's bad. That is
he
bad.
can hit the 3, but it's just sometimes inconsistent. And he does take a good chunk of 3s. He'll take anywhere between 3 and 7 or 8 a game. So he'll take his 3-point shots, and there are times where he just won't look good doing it.
Right.
But I agree. I don't know 100% what Bulls fans expect out of him. Maybe I expected a little too much out of him. Maybe he just doesn't fit within the way this team plays offense. I mean, the paint's pretty clogged. Zach LaVine is not a 3-point shooter.
DeMar DeRozan off the midi.
DeMar DeRozan is that mid-range.
Yeah, he off the midi. So
you'd expect Vucevic to be out on the outside, be that stretch 5 that they think works for their offense. I don't think that's the way that he plays naturally. So there are a lot of issues, I think, with the way this team is built and the way they operate.
Okay.
And the fact that they don't have assets like draft picks, and they don't really have a good trade bait. I mean, honestly, if we're being honest with ourselves, their best trade bait right now is Alex Caruso. He is the player that most teams are going to be interested in my opinion. It seems like that's the way the reporting is going. Is if they were to trade Alex Caruso, that would garner the most interest.
That's unfortunate because they kind of need him, especially with no Lonzo Ball. Like,
Yeah. I mean, Lonzo's done. That's
you gotta have some form of perimeter defense out there. You know, Io, he's doing the best he can.
Sure.
I don't really expect too much on the defensive side from Kobe White. So that's when Alex Caruso is the guy that steps up for them. So it'd be unfortunate if he was on the trade block, Alex Caruso for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what direction the Bulls go into because it's not looking good for Lonzo. He seemed to me kind of that key piece for this Bulls team.
Right.
He's not going to make him a contender by himself, but
Tough.
he's certainly going to elevate their play and elevate everyone's play around him. But his knee just might be completely done, and who knows if he's going to come back. It doesn't sound like he's making any improvements in his rehab whatsoever.
Yeah, it's been an unfortunate 2 years.
It's not good. Yeah, so not good in Bulls land.